darkened grotto in an encaustic, or the eyes in a portrait fixed on nothing recognizable, meditative, turned inward. These are the uncertain spaces our imaginations incline toward, spaces that we, when we stand before the work, long to fill and inhabit in a spirit of connection. That spirit is important, I think, for Mary, whose activism, both as an artist and a citizen, asks us to see the natural world as an organic unity whose well-being is entrusted to our care. Whatever she conceives of expressing, whether it's loss or exaltation, terror or affirmation, there is in it a sense that our connections to each other and to the earth, whether momentarily broken or reaffirmed, are of primal importance, part of our social and evolutionary heritage. It's a generous and ultimately saving notion that she embraces in both her art and life. That when we extend ourselves beyond our ordinary boundaries and filaments of consciousness, mesenteries of being, we become more of what we already are. That when we dream, our dreams are archetypal, shared. That when we move, our gestures strike in us the deepest recognition of how we are kin and enlivened by our kinship. It's a great honor for me to welcome Mary Frank here. Would you please welcome her?
Tell me how this is, and if it's not right, tell me what it, what you need.
That sounds great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll turn it up more.
Okay, where to begin? That was overwhelming.
Sorry to interrupt. If you make sure you speak directly.
Stay here. So just tell me, because I'm sure I'll wander around. You can read, or can you, the titles on there?
Yes.
Or no? No. Okay, then I have a list, and I will. This one's called Inscape, and it's the title of a whole show, actually, not all that same image, but I think the title came from, Gerard Manley Hopkins, who I like a lot. And there was a very large series of paintings with owls, not always flying.
Can you tell us more about the owls?
Well, I like them a lot. I don't get to see them that often. I do know a man upstate New York who is he rehabilitates birds. Owls get hit by cars and then they get blinded and then even if they lose one eye, then they can't do anything. And I did make hundreds of drawings and then many paintings. That was where I got to see them closest. And of course, he always wore gauntlets when he had them on his arm. But then he did have one baby barn owl, and that one then he became the father because it had fallen out of his nest. And he said, well, you can touch this one. I said, touch it? You always told me I cannot possibly touch it, and you can't touch it. He said, this one you can touch. It's very interesting. He said, just touch it, right on the breast. So if this is the owl, I put my finger here, and when I got to the feathers, if this was the feathers, I felt nothing. I said, I don't feel anything. He said, of course not, because owl feathers are so particular, and they have a different shape than any other bird's feathers, which is why they can fly in front of you, a big owl, and you would never hear anything, which is why they're such superb hunters. But it was very, very amazing to touch something that I couldn't feel at all. They also, I think, are the only birds, or maybe mammals, that most of our ears, horses, or, everything, our ears are symmetrical. But the owl's ears, one is here, one is down here, which triangulate sound so they can hear better than anyone else. Much of the portraits, I did write something for myself, and then I put it up in the gallery because people kept on asking me, because I hadn't ever done portraits sort of so intensively. I mean, I've always made portraits, but in the last years became much more focused. And I began to think what an amazing thing it is that somebody would sit for you, even sit still for you, and let you stare at them. I mean, how often do we have even the time to do that, forget about drawing them? And I felt, it was a gift for me that whoever was sitting would sit. And what it is to really look at someone and struggle to, what the human face is. So that's what I wrote. Drawing portraits of people I have known, of people I've imagined, and portraits of portraits. The viewpoint is close, intimate. I'm staring hard. A few feet and worlds between us, the near far of the face. Trying to fathom what it feels like to be you now. Always the music, topography, and climate of the human face. The chaos, deep listening, and sudden pleasure. 7 orifices in all our mammal faces. So much knowing. The human face, as we know it, appeared deep in the Ice Age. We are as old as we've ever been. The eyes, I don't know other perfect circles in the body. We all know the genuine smile. We have to. Do you know what I mean? I think that's enough. No. Sorry. I was supposed to have a few other images, which somehow I didn't have.